Right, we are here speaking to Modestas Bukauskas, former Paper Warriors light heavyweight champion. UFC debut coming up. Life's good, right?
Yeah, very good, mate. Definitely can't wait. It's a very different experience to what other fighters have probably experienced in the past. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. First of all, I got asked, take me out. How did that come about? Was that something you applied for, or is it one that you make stick you up with? Or?
That's always the first question, isn't it? Ever since I've made my national TV debut. Yeah, no, to be honest, it's just sort of very like unexpected, really. You know, I was single, just doing my thing or whatever. You know, had my fights and stuff like that, and next thing you know, I got a friend request off of Facebook, and it said Lucy Carson. For me, I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll just add this chick. I mean, you know, if I got a chick out of me, then that's a plus, right? So thinking absolutely nothing of it. And then I added her or whatever. And then I looked onto the page and everything. And then I went down, and then it said take me out application. And again, just being very like sort of just, I don't know, like naive or whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll just get the application and why not? And then yeah, so I did my application for about like 20 minutes, and then yeah, about 5 minutes later, I got a call from an unknown caller, and I was just like, nah, I ain't about to be prank called right now, not at this time of the day. I ain't about to do that. And then yeah, funny enough, 5 minutes later, that Lucy Caster, the one that I'd just got the friend request from, goes, oh hey Modestas, I'm here from Take Me Out. Would you like to have a phone conversation to go over your questions? So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then yeah, we had about a phone call for about an hour and a half, completely, well, quite badly over exaggerating some of my answers, but it's just me being like my sarcastic, having my little sarcastic tone or whatever. Weirdly enough, they took a lot of that stuff quite seriously on the show, which then they obviously, you know, but it's to make a show, whatever. But then yeah, literally, she invited me after that, straight after the interview, she invited me for the actual audition. Done the audition, and then yeah, about a couple of weeks later, next thing you know, I had the film crew just like filming at my house for a whole day, doing all the stuff for that like literal 30-second VT video. I literally spent the whole day at my house. So yeah, man, it was crazy. Like it was an amazing experience, and like I said, it just came about like very unexpected. You know, I sort of, when I got it, you know, like I asked a couple of people, and obviously my dad was straight away, was like, yeah, 100%, it's great for exposure, it's great for getting yourself out there, and it's just an experience, something different to do. The same life that what you've done that not that many people get to do. So we ended up doing that. But then some people were like, oh yeah, I don't know, it's going to ruin your reputation. I was like, and then at the end of the day, I just thought, John, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And then it ended up being one of the best things that happened to me. So yeah, it worked out well.
Mate, fair play to that, because I was going to say that's what it's all about, a bit of exposure, isn't it, on national TV. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. So obviously didn't work out with the bird on there, but you've got a new girl in your life, I see.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Again, unexpected, man. I think that's the best way to have any sort of situation to have in your life, is just unexpectedly, seems like, because yeah, like obviously with quarantine and stuff like that, you can't really expect to see too many girls around that sort of time. I was sort of just enjoying the single life or whatever, and then again, I had a girl liking my photos, and then
so she approached you then.
Yeah. It's funny. She actually made all the moves, and then, but it was weird because she had like on her people you may know. She clicked on my profile. I was like, this guy looks all right, and then saw that I had some like mutual friends with her, and then they obviously asked, because some of her friends had boyfriends who were fighters. So then she asked them, oh, is he any good in this and that? Like, oh yeah, he's a good fighter and this and that. And then obviously I already had good reviews going in before we'd even chat to each other. And then yeah, so then after that, liked a couple of photos, I liked a couple of hers, and then I added her as a friend and this and that. And the next thing you know, she actually messaged me first on Instagram, funny enough, and then that's it. Then we just sort of just hit it off, and then it seemed like we were talking for quite a long period of time. I think we must have been talking for about 5 weeks or whatever, just on the phone, like, you know, FaceTime here, or, you know, a little phone call there. And then next thing you know, we just decided to meet up. I mean, maybe bending some of the rules a little bit, but yeah, it ended up being, yeah, again, another one of the best things that happened to me. So yeah, very thankful for all these experiences that I've been getting.
Yeah. I was going to say, you can't really grumble at the experiences you've had. You know, Take Me Out, the new girl on the scene, UFC debut coming up.
Yeah.
See, with that, whereabouts were you when you got the call? When did you find out? Sort of how did it all come about?
What, get into the UFC, or the
sort of who approached you? Was it your management team that reached out, or was it the UFC that came knocking to you?
That's one thing that I think a lot of fighters, like, you know, maybe need to sort of understand, is that you need a management team to help you. Like, you need a good management team to help you get the foot in the door and have all the right contacts and this and that. That's one big thing. I mean, just before my world title fight, my first one, a management company who's managing me right now, I had a couple of others approach me, but they were the one that really stood out to be the most, like, sort of like they're very real and genuine and like really good people. Like, I had a real good group of people around them. And yeah, like I said, they said, listen, after you finish the fight, give us a call. And then, you know, I ended up winning and stuff like that. So I gave them a call. And like I say, they talked to my parents and stuff like that, and everything just hit it off. But, you know, after my first title defense, after I actually just won the title, they said, we feel you've got a very good chance of getting to the UFC straight away. So they're really pushing for that. And like, already the UFC already knew about me at that point, and especially from them talking well about me, and then it sort of got me into their eye a little bit more. And then the Copenhagen, we were looking to try and get on last minute, didn't happen. So then afterwards, they said they advised me, okay, well, listen, go and defend your belt, and then after that, you'll definitely have enough of a, you know, leeway to be able to get in there. So I went and defended the belt, and then there was sort of still questions like leading up into the new year, like, you know, so what are we gonna do? You know, I was asking my manager, because it was already like 2 months or a month and a half down the line. I'm like, you know, so what's gonna happen next? You know, I'm training my butt off right now. I mean, I'm just staying in shape, staying ready and stuff like that. But, you know, what's realistically gonna happen? He goes, listen, they're not really signing guys right now unless it's last minute or if it's on the Contender Series. So he said probably your best bet, you know, is probably to sign for the Contender Series. Then that way, if anything does come up last minute, you'll still be ready for both. So I was like, okay, fair enough. That works out. That works out well. We both had agreed on that. And then next thing you know, like 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and you know, for my routine midnight piss, and then yeah, so I woke up, I looked at my phone as well, and I was like, wow, my manager's called me like 5 times. And I was like, okay, I didn't really expect nothing of it, because I said, like, you know, maybe he was going to call me to tell me you got in a Contender Series or whatever, or blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, next thing you know, he goes, Modestas, how do you feel about fighting in the UFC? And I was like, literally, I must have said wow for like the next like 7 minutes. I was just sitting there like a parrot. Like, I literally didn't know what to say. Like, it was mad. Like, as much as I expected that's what I wanted to happen, and that was what my dream and my goal was. But it's like, when your dream finally come true, and like, you know, he says those words, like, it was just surreal at that time. So yeah, it was mad. But yeah, it was literally just I think the when you talk to the matchmaker and stuff like that, and they're trying to decide what my future would be, because they were like sort of trying to negotiate and stuff like that on like, and then, you know, the matchmaker straight away said, yeah, do you know what, I like this kid, let's sign him straight away. So it's good. It's good that I had that exposure on Cage Warriors, which then obviously led to me getting seen by the top dogs, and then now I get my chance to prove on July 15th that I am what they were expecting.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, touching on the Cage Warriors thing, obviously, as you know, it's a bit of a feeder for the UFC. Seen a lot of good fighters come out there, Nathaniel Wood, Jack Shaw, you know, to name a couple. Again, former champions. So again, a good sort of spot to get exposure from the UFC, because you know they're going to be watching the promotion. Obviously, in terms of training wise, how's it been with sort of the whole COVID-19 going on? Has it been sort of a bit sort of difficult because you haven't been able to much sparring in, or is it just sort of same as usual, really?
Yeah, to be honest, it's almost been pretty much same like normal, to be honest with you. I mean, listen, not everyone has you know, a gym downstairs in the back garden and a head coach in the room right next to them. So, you know, I've been very blessed and fortunate to have those situations be available towards me. And it's been amazing. Listen, at the beginning of lockdown, when everything's a bit more strict, then obviously that's where I just was able to work on different things that I wasn't able to work on before. Like I was able to run a bit more, you know, but everything stayed the same. I was still doing paddle with my dad every day, still doing strength and conditioning twice a week. Do you know what I mean? Still able to drill all my movements. Like I've been working on stuff that I wasn't able to work on during camps because you're just, you know, sparring like the different movements or doing positional stuff, and you're not really focusing on maybe some of the techniques and drills that you wanted to go over because you weren't so sure of, or you wanted to make more crisp and clean. And, you know, I've been able to do that, you know, as much as it sort of hurts my dad, you know, obviously, you know, being a bit older and stuff like that, me, you know, trying to throw him about a little bit to do these drills, but he's well up for it. He's always helping me. He's always trying to help me level up. So I was able to drill all the movements with him and stuff like that. And, you know, do the pad work, like I say, strength and conditioning, the running, which made my gas tank even better. And then, as lockdown slowly started to ease off, and, you know, I started getting training partners in my house. And like I said, everything's become very specific to me, which is amazing. I've never had it where, you know, everything was like literally just geared towards me getting better or preparing for a particular opponent. So it was amazing to have such high skilled training partners, which I'm thankful for, that just come down to my house and train. So literally, it's probably been even better during lockdown. I'm definitely going to sort of implement some of those sort of sessions into my routine whenever, you know, everything goes back to normal. So it's been actually an amazing experience, and I feel like I've definitely leveled up over this time.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that's good to hear. Obviously, coming into UFC debut, that's what you want. You want to be sort of reaching new heights and sort of feeling things that you've not felt before, feeling good in yourself. Obviously, touching on the UFC, obviously you've had a bit of sort of high caliber training. I've read that you've obviously been to Jackson Wink and been, you know, sort of had sessions with Jones and Jon Jones. I mean, how was that for a young fighter to be over there and sort of get that experience? Do you sort of think that helps with where you're at today, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, that I got to do that training when I was 22, so I'm 26 now. So it was a while back, but it was definitely a big deal for me because, you know, I got to train with my idols. You know, the guys I've been looking up to, the guys that you know, that I've been watching in the game and doing all the good things out there, and it was actually really, really an amazing experience just to see that there's such cool guys, and that, you know, they're just like me and you sort of thing, and they have their times where they're joking around and stuff like that, but then they're also, you know, trying to train and get better. And to see myself hang in there with the best in the world always showed me, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna be, you know, that guy one day. Like it shows that I'm ready to at some point in my career, I'm going to be the guy who's going to be at the top, because, you know, it just gave me like much more motivation, inspiration, and at the same time I got to train with these high level guys and pick up these levels and techniques at such a young age. So it was amazing. So it definitely played a massive part to my development, and it played a massive part in me, you know, developing the sort of mindset and everything really to go into my career. But, you know, as time went on and stuff like that, I realized I was getting very good training obviously here in London. So pretty much here in London. So at the end of the day, you know, I had really good training partners in specific areas and stuff like that. Like, listen, who knows what the next couple of years will sort of unveil and stuff like that. But like I said, everything's been amazing in terms of my own development. I've been taking little things that I saw fit that was going to help me, and, you know, that was one of them. Obviously, back in the day with Jackson Wink.
Yeah, I was good. And with Jon Jones obviously being the light heavyweight champion, obviously a bit of sort of controversy with the sort of debate with the UFC about pay, etc. Obviously relinquished the title. Do you see that sticking, or do you see them? I mean, personally, I see them negotiating it and seeing him back in there. But
it depends. Look, listen, with the UFC, I mean, it depends on how big of a draw you are. It depends how much tickets you're selling. It depends, you know, and as well, they're in quite a financial rut at the minute as well, you know, during the COVID and, you know, not having the gate, which was basically where most of the money came from. So they must have been losing a lot of money during this time. As, you know, obviously they can make up for things with pay-per-view and stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it just all depends. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, obviously I understand, you know, from his point of view, you got to see what you feel you're worth at the end of the day. I mean, you've been a champion for so long, like you should be earning, you know, substantial more money. You know, I do agree with him in that respect. But at the same time, like, you know, you've got guys that are coming up, like, you know, even Jorge Masvidal, who just managed to get the money that he feels that he deserves and stuff like that. It just depends. Like I said, if you can sell tickets and you can put, you know, people to watch and stuff like that, and to gather interest around the sport, they're going to pay you a lot more. If you're a personality, if people are drawn towards you, that's what Conor McGregor created his empire, which was basically just from creating so much interest, and that's why he was able to negotiate, because it was doing well for the business, and that's just how business is. If you're doing well for the business, then they're gonna give you more. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I hope, you know, those negotiations, you know, come through and he's able to find something that he's happy with. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a long process. There's a lot more to it that people don't really get, and you know, obviously, it's not just as easy as, you know, oh yeah, like I'll fight here, there. Like, you know, there's a lot of things that have to go with it, and it's like, do you want to take the risk of fighting for a lower amount of money where you're probably getting, you know, a lot more elsewhere? So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but you know, at the end of the day, I do admire him standing by his stance and you know, trying to get what he's worth.
Yeah, I understand that completely. Obviously, it worked for Jorge Masvidal, obviously being the late replacement. Obviously, he held it out, and as sort of it's sort of gone in his favour. Obviously, it might not have done, but obviously it worked out for him in the fact that obviously he got called up late notice and has obviously been paid what he feels is right. So hopefully we see that a bit more. Obviously, with your debut coming up, opponent change. Vinicius Moreira, obviously Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu style. Michailidis seems like he likes to stand and bang a bit more. Is it going to be like a process of feeding it out for the first round and then going in the second round, or is it a case of going in there and just letting them have it?
I've got to take it to him. I definitely got to take it to him straight away from the opening bell. I can't let him get too comfortable with the stand up. To be honest, at the end of the day, it's a fight you got to adapt and see how it is in there. But I've got to put it on him early on in the fight, bring it into boxing range, and you know, like I say, stop the take. It's just going to be the same thing: stopping the takedown, landing the hard strikes. You know, it does seem like he might strike a little bit more, but then again, he may wrestle. So at the end of the day, I'm ready for anything. Doesn't matter what they throw. Doesn't matter what they're going to throw at me. At the end of the day, I'm going to be prepared for anything that comes about. That's why I work every skill set equally as much as each other. A bit more focus on the grappling over the last couple of years, but I feel like my striking's leveled up as well. So at the end of the day, we're just continue trying to. I believe that Michailidis is a tougher opponent. So this is a step up, but at the end of the day, it's a good step up. It's a good thing for both of us. It's you know, it's more exciting and stuff like that. So yeah, I just can't wait to get in and like I said, do the job. But I do feel that in the first round I'll probably wear him down. In the second round, really put it on him.
Yeah. No, I was going to say with the opponent change as well. Obviously, you touched on it there. You feel like it's a better opponent. I do personally, looking sort of from the outside in. Obviously, Moreira was on a 3-fight skid, whereas Michailidis, you know, has a better streak, has a bit of a win streak going. So I see that as sort of a more competitive battle. Like you say, obviously with the wrestling, depends on how you go at him in the first round. Obviously, fighters when they get tired, they tend to shoot for a takedown when they don't want to trade, which obviously
wrestlers.
Yeah, I was going to say, and with obviously your record, obviously seems like you carry that power. So I can imagine that we'll see a takedown thrown in there from him somewhere when he feels that. Obviously, looking back at your fight record as well, you had a couple of you sort of started at middleweight, had 2 losses at middleweight, I believe, and then moved up to light heavy. Was that sort of a decision on? Do you feel like you're making too much of a cut at middleweight, or how did you view that?
There was a load of different things. I mean, to be honest, I think those 2 losses just came because mentally I wasn't prepared to take on those sort of high profile fights, and not only that, I was just mentally not in the right frame of mind to be able to go out and perform at my best, which now I am, and obviously I've figured it out since then. But Obviously, yeah, it was a massive cut. I mean, it got to the end of that year, and I sort of really dialed in my nutrition. And I used to walk around way too heavy, like way too fat and blobby and chubby. And then, then afterwards, I realized that you need to be lean all year round so you can have like the energy and stuff like that. So I implemented that. I could have easily made it middleweight at that point, but obviously things took a bit of a turn, and then I got an injury and stuff like that. And during the injury, when I wasn't able to move my leg and stuff like that, I did a lot of stuff from sitting down, using my upper body, incorporating muscles that I never got to use before, and adding strength and conditioning into my sessions as well after those 2 losses. So there's a lot of things that I changed, which then I think it just naturally made me fill out. Like afterwards, like right now, if I was to make middleweight, I have to chop an arm off. Like it's literally going to be impossible. So I think naturally, as my age went up and stuff like that, like I filled out, I got stronger, and it just made more sense just to not have to drop that much weight. Like especially right now, I mean, listen, I weighed in the other day, I was 214 pounds, and this is pretty much going into fight week, only 9 pounds over. I mean, you can't really ask for anything better. No. So really, everything's been going really well in that respect. So I'm very thankful that move was made, and clearly that's managed to bring the best out of me.
Yeah. Obviously, reason I sort of touched on that, I sort of felt that I needed to, because obviously we've seen previous middleweights move up to light heavyweight in terms of Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, and they've done relatively well at light heavy. Obviously hasn't worked for everyone. Weidman, Rockhold didn't work out for them. But hope obviously it seems to be working for you. Obviously getting the win streak going now. And obviously we've actually seen fighters dropping down in weight as well, which is surprising. Frankie Edgar going down to bantamweight, which is odd considering he's a former 155 champ. But obviously, as we know, he was sort of more of a natural lightweight than having to cut anything. So obviously that sort of came to disadvantage in the later years. Obviously with Darren Till, another fighter, who's moved up obviously from welterweight to middleweight. Obviously he again, sort of, you mentioned the cut in your previous sort of answer. That seemed to sort of be taking too much out of him. So I think that's a good thing that fighters have got to look at as well, as how much they're cutting and how sort of detrimental that is to their health, and also how it's going to affect them in a fight as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, I think if you're cutting so much weight that you're literally just like falling off the scales and stuff like that, that's definitely not healthy, and it's definitely not going to bring the best out of you in terms of your performance. And I feel you should be really trying to walk around not too far over your weight, so that you can feel energy and you can feel good and you can feel strong at a weight that's close to what you're going to be fighting at, because you're literally just going to be sucking out water in the last 9-10 pounds of your cut. So you don't want to be so completely drained that you can't actually go out there and perform for 3 hard rounds or 3 to 5 hard rounds. So yeah, definitely moving up, I think will be a regular theme in the MMA game, that's for sure.
Yeah. Also, in terms of moving up, we've also seen Gustafsson. He's got a fight confirmed at heavyweight. Similar sort of build to you, quite tall, quite sort of stocky. Do you ever sort of see that? Obviously a long way to go yet. You're still 26, you're still young, but do you ever think about that in the future, thinking maybe make another step up, or sort of are you happy with where you're at?
Well, obviously my goal right now is to become the light heavyweight champion of the world. That will continue to be my goal until I go out and finish it. And then but then after that, of course, there'll be the questions of moving up and stuff like that. Like I said, I think a lot of the other heavyweights are going to be a lot more muscular, maybe a bit stronger. But then again, I might get strong, and I might put on a bit of size and stuff like that. So like I say, the sky's the limit, really. I've not reached my athletic potential just yet. Obviously, still got a couple more years of that when I'm in my real athletic prime. But I think like I say, those sort of fights would happen like more in super fights or trying to go for a second belt or something like that. And obviously these are visions and things that you want in your career and stuff like that, as we've seen other fighters do it. But at the end of the day, you just got to like I say, just go by the flow. And I've never fought at heavyweight, so obviously I think it'll be quite interesting once I've done all that there is to be light heavyweight.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I suppose at the moment it's sort of focusing on what's in front of you and the task at hand, get your debut out of the way, and then sort of go from there and work your way up and see what's what. Lithuanian fighter, obviously Lithuanian born. I believe you're the first Lithuanian born fighter to be in the UFC. Obviously, Rose Namajunas, she's got Lithuanian heritage, but obviously she was born in the States. So is that sort of a sort of proud moment for you, for you and your dad, sort of representing Lithuania out there?
100%. I mean, not only that. I mean, listen, you write on Wikipedia who's the first Lithuanian athlete signed by the UFC, and it comes up with my name. So, yeah, to be down in the history books and stuff like that is absolutely amazing. And obviously, I'm very patriotic towards my country. Although I can't speak it amazingly well, I can understand it quite well, and I'm still trying to learn and you know get better at it as the days go on. Especially during the quarantine period, I've been trying to fix up on my Lithuanian a little bit. But listen, that was the country where I was born. That's my hometown. Every time I go back there, it's like you always feel like some sort of this, I don't know, like an aura of, you know, it just being like your proper home. So, like I said, I love it, and I have so many Lithuanians messaging me and, you know, telling me good luck and stuff like that. And, you know, to have the country on my shoulders is just an amazing feeling. Like, to go out there and really put out the best performance, it almost gives me energy, gives me extra power to go out and just put on my best performance and make my country proud and put ourselves on the map as well. So yeah, it means a hell of a lot to me and my dad, and I think it especially means a lot to my dad. You know, being brought up there as well. So, you know, it will mean a lot for both of us to bring out a win and obviously hold the Lithuanian flag high after a win.
Yeah, no, that's always good, and always what you know, you always want to represent your country well, and you know, it's sort of on the biggest stage. You can't really ask for more than that. Obviously, your dad training you and that, does it get sort of difficult at times? Do you ever come to blows, or is it sort of more like a best mate bond in there?
Yeah, 100%. We're definitely just really good friends. Like I say, we keep it very obviously professional, as in like we need to get the work done, but you know, we joke around a little bit here and there. But you know, when it gets to business, like when he sees that I'm focused and I'm trying to hit with venom and this and that, he always pushes me in that direction of, yeah, like, you know, let's keep him focused. Let's get him to try and get the best out of him. He's always trying to see the best, to get the best out of me. He's always thinking of different ways to train, different ways to, you know, and make me improve and stuff like that, which is absolutely amazing. He literally puts his whole heart and soul to making me better, which is, you know, amazing. Like I said, the fact that in quarantine I can't go nowhere, I can't go out on weekends or stuff like that, you know, it's kind of nice, you know, being able to be at home and talk to him more and, you know, just hang out more and you know, see what he's doing and stuff like that, which I didn't really get to do before. So it's good. I think we built an absolutely amazing bond, and it's just gotten even stronger, and I think that's what makes us strong together in the cage.
Yeah, well, it seems to be working so far. So far so good. Keep it going. Obviously, with the COVID test, obviously you're in the hotel for 48 hours. Obviously, been there since yesterday. You're there until tomorrow when you get your results, and then fly out to Abu Dhabi the same evening. Is it? I mean, that must have been a weird experience in itself. I mean, it's not every day that you turn up to a hotel, have to have a swab stuck down your nose and throat, and then have to sit in a room on your own for 48 hours.
Yeah, it was a bit of a, even the swab thing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't actually too bad. Like, I mean, you know, some people said it was like really horrendous. I thought it's, you know, it makes your eyes water a little bit, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, obviously it's just got to be done. But yeah, just staying in your room the whole time. Now I see why people could like complaining. I mean, obviously I had like a gym downstairs or whatever. You like, you know, you go for a run for your one thing of exercise and stuff. Can't go nowhere. So I can understand people being a bit annoyed about being cooped up, but I mean, listen, I'm watching UFC stuff. You know, got the TV here and stuff like that. You know, so you know, it's not been too bad, but I know it's just a bit of a ball ache, isn't it? Like, we're gonna have to do this for 2 days, and so tomorrow, then in the evening, we'll fly, and then we'll get to Abu Dhabi, and then we have to quarantine again there. So it's just like the long period of just like, you know, sort of sitting around, not being able to do much, having to call room service all the time when you just want to do things yourself and blah blah blah. So but yeah, mate, it's all part of the journey, isn't it? All, like I say, all part of the experience of fighting on Fight Island. So I can't really ask for anything better. I think if anything, I couldn't have asked for it to be any other way, because now this will really go down like in my memories. It's like, you know, all these amazing memories that I've been having during my fight career. So this is definitely going to be one of them.
Yeah, it's a different one for sure, but obviously, yeah, like you say, 48 hours there, and then you're on the flight, and then it's another 48 hours in Abu Dhabi, isn't it? So it's almost a week just sort of hold up in a hotel, on a plane, and then hold up in a hotel. So it's going to be a bit of a weird experience for you. But I can imagine once that's out of the way, you can really start sort of getting the finishing touches into sort of, you know, going at it next Saturday, really.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, listen, my weight's low and everything like that. Just, yeah, I just want to be able to just move around and do some more like training, just get out with my dad and like my other training, my coaches and stuff like that, and just move around, just get some kicks going. Do you know what I mean? But to be fair, I might have to do a bit of shadow boxing tomorrow, just to get a bit of something going. Do you know what I mean? Just get a little workout in. I think it's good to rest. I didn't rest, like, you know, like to get an extra day of rest is quite nice. But then, yeah, tomorrow I'm definitely going to be restless. I'm going to have to move something about and definitely do something in the room. That's for sure.
Yeah, sort of keep it going, keep it in shape, keep the flow up. And I mean, Abu Dhabi, you can't really complain at that, can you? Getting paid and getting a free holiday while you're at it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, listen, Fight Island, like I said, going down in the history books is something that's just never been done before, and we're going to be part of this historic moment. So yeah, like I said, I just can't wait.
Mate, sounds good. I'm excited for you. I want to thank you for the time, for, you know, taking some time out to talk to me. I mean, I know you've got enough time being in one room, but you know, you didn't have to say yes, so I appreciate that, and I look forward to catching you fight next Saturday.
Thank you so much for having me on, mate. I really appreciate it. The chat is nice talking to you, and yeah, just wait for July 15th because I'm going to put an absolute dominating performance for you,
mate. Looking forward to it. Banging.
Nice one, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Speak soon, mate.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care, mate. Bye.